5 years ago in Mosul, Afghanistan, a drone flies over a village as a man runs down a street, attracting the attention of the Taliban. The man warns an older member that Americans are coming, while others bury an IED. American troops arrive and begin reconnoitering the area as the town becomes deserted. Pretty Boy, the squad leader, finds a man preparing a bomb, so they surround him. Jake orders the man to drop the weapon and threatens to shoot him. But the man does not listen and grabs a gun, forcing the troops to shoot him. Colonel Tom Mason, their commanding officer, asks him about the situation over the radio. So he asks for permission to disarm it, but Mason refuses. But he decides to do it anyway and successfully disarms the bomb. Soon after, the second bomb explodes, killing everyone but Jake. The Taliban ambush him, firing in all directions. Jake gets up and runs away while Mason covers him. He then goes to help him. When he reaches Mason, an enemy comes after him, but Mason saves his life. Today, the soldier is a frightened civilian. Jake is reintegrated into America, but struggles with memories of the war. Jake tries to live a normal life, working in Earl's garage in Riverside, California. Jake returns home to spend time with his family. His wife shows him a pile of bills, and he assures her that they will make it, as they always have. The next day, Jake goes to work and sees Mexican gangsters that Earl owes money to. It soon turns into a physical fight when Fresh, the gang leader, orders his men to beat him up. Jake attacks them, but before he can target Fresh, he threatens him with a gun. Fresh tells him that they will see each other again before they leave. Jake confronts Earl about the danger he got himself into. Jake is worried about his family's safety, but Earl assures him that he will protect their neighborhood at all costs. That night, tragedy strikes Jake when Fresh arrives and tells him it is time for revenge. Panicked, he runs into the house to find his family dead. Soon the police arrive and try to talk to Jake, but he loses consciousness as he runs to his car and looks for Fresh. Soon after, he sees Fresh's car parked outside a club and plans to catch him to avenge his family. He shoots the gang, and as he is about to kill Fresh, he explains that he has no choice but to do so, but his words do not shake Jake's determination, who kills him instantly. 5 months later, Jake is in prison for his crime. Mason offers to help him, but he insists that he needs to stay in prison after what he did. Mason tries to comfort him, but Jake explains that he killed her without remorse and would do it again if necessary. He then tells Mason to never come back. He receives an unexpected visitor, Ramsey, who leads a private task force. But Jake quickly dismisses him. That night, masked men break into his cell and kidnap him. Soon he discovers that it was Ramsey and his men. He tells him that he has been watching him for a long time and asks him if he wants to rot in prison or start a new life by joining his unit. After careful consideration, Jake decides to live as a hero again by working for a secret government agency called Section 8. Ramsey introduces him to Elias, Ajax, Brunner, and Mueller and tells him what they do. Jake secretly takes a pen from a desk before being taken to another room. Ramsey also tells him that he has been declared dead and will be given a new identity. As Ramsey leaves, the team puts him through the initiation process. Ajax begins to provoke him by picking a fight. Jake responds by nearly piercing his eye with a pen. A memory of his family suddenly appears in his mind and calms him. Soon Jake is sent out on his first mission with Mueller. She briefs him on his target, Alejandro Castillo, a defense contractor who is also a black market arms dealer. She tells him that he must retrieve a schematic file and eliminate Alejandro before he sells it to the Russians. Arriving in Mexico, they find Castillo in a warehouse where he meets with Johnny, a Russian negotiator. Jake sneaks into the warehouse and takes out a guard. The noise attracts their attention and turns them against each other. Their misunderstanding turns into a shootout, and Jake takes advantage by killing all the survivors. He then shoots at Castillo, takes the files and leaves, sparing 2 innocent women. Ramsey chides him for compromising the integrity of the mission by leaving survivors behind. He threatens to send him back to prison if he does not comply. Jake is released and Mueller evaluates his performance. But Ramsey is not pleased. The next day, Locke infiltrates a hotel to eliminate a target who knows Ramsey. The man tries to bribe him, but he is not convinced. On his way out, the guards chase him, but he manages to escape in a stolen car. Jake moves into a new house. He finds a photo from his time in Afghanistan that reminds him of a conversation he had with Mason. Jake feels guilty for hurting him, but Mason wisely assuages his guilt. Later, Mueller finds Jake at a bar and they talk over drinks. He then asks her about Ramsey, but she says she knows nothing. He then asks her about her past. She tells him that she was in the army, but was reprimanded for hitting her commander. Ramsey informs her of her new mission. Their target is a state senator, Jim Graham. They must retrieve digital information from a sensitive case and eliminate the target. He assigns Mueller to retrieve the files while Jake watches, and the rest is for backup. Later they arrive in California disguised as landscapers. Mueller takes out the guards in the room, but alerts security, jeopardizing the mission. At this point, Jake pursues Graham while Mueller handles the files. Jake finally corners Graham, but hesitates knowing he has a family. Ajax catches up with them and kills Graham. Jake is haunted by Graham's words and cannot help but remember his wife. Because of his hesitation, he is now a target of Section 8. Masked men enter his house to hunt him down, but he manages to escape. He then goes to Mason and they talk about Section 8. Mason makes it clear that he will be in serious trouble if he runs from them, so Jake asks him for help in escaping. Back in Riverside, Jake finds out from his son's best friend that Fresh was seen with people in suits before his family was killed. But before he can get any more information, Locke kills him. Jake manages to escape while Locke shoots everyone, including the authorities. Locke calls Ramsey and tells him that he has lost Jake. But Ramsey provokes him and challenges him to find Jake. Later that day, Section 8 finds Jake in Earl's shop. Jake fights for his life against Elias and Brunner and successfully takes them down. But Ajax is a strong opponent, but Mueller arrives and kills Ajax. Earl gives Jake the keys to a car and tells him to leave before the police arrive. Mueller and Jake argue about not trusting each other. He then asks where Ramsey is so he can get this over with once and for all. They drive to Montana where Ramsey is supposed to meet with some congressman. The two try to sneak in, but Jake is knocked out. He eventually wakes up tied to a chair with Ramsey in front of him and Mueller next to him. Ramsey tells him that it was all a trap and that they have a surprise for him. The door opens and Tom enters the room. Jake is confused by his appearance, but his questions are answered when they reveal that they are responsible for killing his family. The reason is that they saw his family as a waste of his talent. After giving the money to Ramsey, Tom excuses himself while Mueller checks the money. He then sneaks back into the room and frees Jake. He tells him that he has been assigned to take down Section 8. The alarm then goes off, alerting Ramsey's men. Despite being outnumbered, they take them down. Once Ramsey is cornered, Jake tells him that he wants to see him dead. As Mueller approaches to shoot Jake, Tom takes a bullet for him and dies. Ramsey then escapes as Mueller knocks Jake out. Jake manages to kill her shortly after. He then chases after Ramsey, who crashes into a car. Jake approaches and the wounded Ramsey insults him for hesitating. Jake shoots him. Jake then meets the lawyer, Savoy, who offers him a job and a clean slate. He also tells him that Tom worked for them, but Jake rejects the offer, saying he has nothing left to fight for. Savoy understands, but offers him his card anyway. Jake returns home to find Locke waiting for him. He wants to finish the job without Ramsey, so they fight. But Jake eventually gets the gun and kills him. Jake then sends a voice message to Earl, thanking him for saving his life, just as his father did. Jake finally gets on a bus, where he calls Savoy, who welcomes him to Section 9. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching.